Hey everybody, welcome to ROA. We have one of our favorite roamers here, George, and he's telling me about his most recent experience camping, and I just wanted everybody else to be a part of it. So George, you just went out for spring break.
Yes, spring break in Utah.
Okay, and tell me about your experience, where you guys went, what you did.
Well, you know, as many know, spring break is time when everybody gets out and they're all winterized and they get out into the outdoors and stuff. And over the years, it's 1,000 people. But since becoming a roamer a few years ago,
yeah,
I think the advantage of these trailer and others like this is it gets you off that 30 yards of road or that section of road that a normal car or trailer can't get by, and get you out into the wilderness or a place where others can't get. Yeah. And so this weekend, or last week, we went on spring break for a week and made our way down to Phoenix to see my wonderful daughters, and then made our way back up to Utah. And so we camped in 4 different spots. One was above Monument Valley, Moki Dugway. Well, initially the night before we were in the Santa Fe Swell, then went down there. And then on the way back, we went up by Lake Powell, above Alstrom Point, and then another spot on the way back. But the 4 spots we had on a spring break weekend, we saw other people, but we never camped with neighbors.
Yeah, so how far away, like you saw how far away at night could you see other people?
One location in the distance and stuff, but one we were on a cliff overlooking Monument Valley, literally on the side of a cliff. Another one, we were at Alstrom Point, the same thing, on the edge of a cliff overlooking Lake Powell.
Yeah.
And the stars, there's no light pollution. And we were in some of the most beautiful places on the earth, and it cost us $0.
Yeah, you weren't paying anything
except for the gas.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that was actually a concern we had. Was gas, because gas had gone up, diesel.
Yeah.
And we're going, should we take the trailer? Should we just fly to Phoenix and stuff? And then it just hit us. We go, hey, we're not going to have a hotel bill because of the off-road capabilities. We're not going to have a camp fee.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have our food, at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And
it's always cheaper to buy your own food.
Yeah, and we cooked it in there. And then we're sitting there the first night in the Santa Fe Swell, and it was just off this section of dirt road up this inclinement that was hard to get to, literally 30 yards, and then down road just a little bit, and we're by ourselves overlooking the whole Santa Fe Swell with a fire out in front. We cooked our own food. And we couldn't have paid a campsite to be there. This was a Ritz-Carlton, a camping, and it was free. I've stayed in Ritz-Carltons where you paid $400 or $500 a night for lesser views than what we had on the 4 nights of this camp trip. So this is where the industry's going, is rugged quality, where people can get to places and be by themselves, and even on a busy weekend.
Which is crazy.
And stuff. So we spend more time off-road or boondocking, whatever you want to call it, than we do in a campground. But every once in a while I like to go in a campground and and meet people and talk, because that's part of the RV experience too.
Yeah.
And then you get to show them your trailer, because they're all going, what's this?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we're at.
I can't agree more. I was just reading an article the other day where they were talking about how much all of the campsites are reserved throughout the United States.
Well, that's a problem, because COVID they've gone to a reservation system now.
Yes.
Where before we could go up to Jackson Hole, stay in the huge campground, get a spot, in the morning get up, go to Signal Mountain, find a camp spot, put a chair in it, come back. And can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
COVID has ruined a lot of the strategies before of getting a campsite in a campground. You have to do it months in advance and stuff.
Yeah.
And so this is, I think, where the industry is headed. And the only thing is those that come in here need to be responsible.
Yeah.
And not use their vehicles to cause damage or go on private property, because then they'll restrict it more. And one thing we do...
You're saying if we get a bunch of numbskulls, we're going to start getting more restrictions.
Well, another thing we do is we make it a habit before we leave a campsite. This came from my Boy Scout.
Cleaning it up.
Well, not only clean my stuff up, but clean everybody else's stuff up.
Yeah.
But you see great things that nobody will ever see. Like when we were in the Santa Fe Swell, we were walking around the next morning, and there's these old uranium mine holes that they drilled down in to do exploration.
Yeah.
And so we threw a rock down. It goes boom, 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 bling.
Yeah.
And we spent like a half hour throwing rocks down this thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we saw an eagle out near Loa. That was our last night. We're at a lake.
Where's Loa?
It's in Capitol Reef, outside Capitol
Okay.
Reef. And there's this lake. It's just below Fish Lake, and it's one we discovered last year. And it's a busy lake. Okay. Now this time of year there was like only 2 people there because it was still not camping season. But at the end of the lake, it's this beautiful meadow in the summertime, and it's green and lush.
Yeah.
And you have your own access for your boat and everything, and everybody's up there in the RV camps, right? You know why? Because there's this one little steep section that goes down.
They can't do it.
Well, a car can or a Jeep.
Yeah.
But a trailer.
No way.
And so we go down there, and in July, we're all by ourselves.
At the peak of camping season.
Yeah, a quarter mile down the way, in the distance, we can see all the RVs lined up and everything.
And you got your own spot.
And we're at our own spot with our own little dock for our kayak, and the dogs run around, and the grass is like green. So we stayed there, and in the morning we're sitting eating breakfast, and we get the binoculars out, and there's this bald eagle, beautiful eagle sitting there looking for its fish in the morning and stuff. But that's, growing up in Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm a baby boomer. I will be 63 this August. And so I climbed, I hiked, I backpacked, and I never thought I'd own an RV. And I still don't. I own a Caravan.
Yeah.
I own an Explorer,
Yeah.
And but as my body started to break down and I couldn't sleep on the ground anymore, or my wife didn't want to, I bit the bullet, and I bought an R-Pod, which was great for 4 or 5 years, and I met you guys.
Yeah.
And it's great. It reminds me of camping in Colorado, backpacking in.
Yeah.
And so I think this is where the U.S. RV industry is headed from like in the 1970s when we had cars, and Japan started to come in and in the 80s and 90s produce really good cars and force the industry to change. You guys are forcing the industry, and other manufacturers are forcing the industry to change, where we don't want cardboard walls anymore.
Yeah.
And some of these trailers you took out where we went this weekend would come back with pieces in the back.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
And that's one other thing I just want to touch on.
Yeah.
For those that are thinking of getting an RV, or caravan or trailer, there's a lot on the forums of things go wrong. This broke, that broke. What I've learned is that will happen, yes, with the cheaper ones, but it'll also happen with the higher end ones, just because you're driving your house down the road. And in these, you're driving it on rock and roll. And so it takes time to work the bugs out, to find the weak points, and then also make it yours, where you add modifications, either you do it or somebody else does it, such as you guys, that will make it what you want it to be. And it takes time. I think I got mine dialed in, and it's been almost 2 years. But I had it dialed in really good in a year. So what I do when I go out is I have a list, a notepad, and I write 3 things on it. 1, supplies I run out of, need toilet paper, need hand towels, soap. So when I get home, I put it back so it's ready to go. The second thing is repairs. Something, screw comes loose, something breaks, or whatever, fix this. So when I come back, eventually I fix it and it doesn't, go on. And then the third thing is I wish I had a towel rack over here.
Yeah.
Or I wish I had more solar. Or I wish I did this. And I put that down and either figure out how to do it or in the future get it done.
And you get it all dialed in after you do that.
And pretty soon that list gets shorter and
shorter.
And it keeps you up. But you guys are in the sweet spot of the industry and providing a service. You're not a salesperson. You're like Apple. You're there to not sell me something, but give me a door to an experience I want. And then say, here's the tools, okay? And because I want to get out, I don't want to be every time in a huge campground. We drive by these campgrounds now, and they're just stuffed with people.
Yeah.
And we just go, ooh. Now, Every once in a while, I love a campground because you
Yes,
meet great people.
yeah.
And the great thing about RV campgrounds, or whether it's a formal campground or a campground in a national forest, you go out and you walk around, and it's like at a hotel. Everybody stays in their room. Nobody talks to each other. Even at a campground,
everybody's
come
out
over a campfire and this, and you talk and you meet some of the greatest people you ever met.
So that is a benefit of it.
Yeah, campgrounds are fine too, but this one will get you to sanity.
Yeah. Well, I had to. Thanks for sitting down and doing this with us. When I was listening to you talk, I can tell people what you just said, but it's really fun to hear it from an owner, someone who's actually out doing these things, about what that experience is like. I just think that there's a lot of people that have normal American trailers that don't know what they're missing out on. And I wanted them to hear what your experience has been like.
Well, I'm going to appreciate the free trailer you give me after this interview.
Yeah, of course.
But it's one of those old ones anyway.
Yeah.
No, but trailers aren't inexpensive. You spend $12,000-$13,000 on a trailer, you're going to get what you pay for. And I'm not knocking anybody for somebody that is on a budget and to get out. Then fine, get out. That's the point. Get out.
Yeah.
But you starting to spend 50 plus on a trailer, then you're going to get another level of less grief and just being able to go places. And so, ROA is a different, like you guys have switched, well, I don't know about switch brands, but have moved on from certain brands like my Black Series and stuff.
Yeah.
But you still support me.
Yeah, of course.
If I have a problem or a question, boom, you support me, and I bug you guys a lot, and you haven't kicked me out yet. So, but no, I think you have redefining the industry as far as not just quality of trailers, but customer service. And you guys I don't look at you guys as a sales, like a salesperson. I look at you as a resource, and you have trips and everything like that. So, but
we went on a trip together to Colorado. That was
pretty good.
Almost 2 years ago now, George. That's crazy to think, right? And hopefully you'll go on this next one. But I did have one other question before I let you go. So you talked about some really cool places that you've gone, and I think that there's a lot of people that are just getting into the industry that they don't know where they can go, and how are they going to know where a safe trail is, where they should go? How do you find all these places that you go? Like, what is your process?
Well, one is experience. I've been in the outdoors a lot around Utah. I'm a photographer, so I've been to a lot of places on a day trip or around.
Okay, so you know where some good trails are just by having driven them with your tow vehicle without a trailer.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the second one is online. There's a lot of great online in the forums such as yours and others, and every trailer will have their own online place. Go to caravans in the U.S. and they'll find places for you. But third is go to a place like the Santa Fe Swell. We've been going there for years, and so we'll find, like right off of I-70, there's a place, dirt road, you can go down, there's plenty of places to camp, and then the next day we'll either take our e-bikes, which is the next revolution, or our hike, or take our truck out and explore places. Said, our trailer could make it down there. Now, when I'm driving just our truck, I'll say, can our trailer make it down,
Yes.
You got to be careful. These have capabilities that no other trailer has, so you can get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse
being out alone
and backing
up.
Just bring your divorce lawyer with you. No, but you want to be safe. Pushing the envelope doesn't mean you can't get these in trouble or stuck.
Yeah.
And you can't, anything can get stuck or in trouble or broken or wrecked. But if you just keep eyes out when you're out and about and on forums and stuff, and you'll find it. And I never go down a road unless I know there's an out on the other end.
Or there's a good spot for turning around.
Or turning around.
Yeah.
Because there's some roads that go, hey, look at this, and all of a sudden it just narrows and then dead ends, and you're going, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And that's what, I've never really got caught in a place. That's because I'm just careful. I don't go with a 20-some foot trailer. I don't go into unknown dirt roads.
Yeah.
And then I carry recovery equipment like tracks and and tow ropes and jacks
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and just have some basic stuff.
Well, the truth is, I'm new to the industry. I had nothing to do with this industry, and so I have
remember
a lot of the questions.
2 years ago, you were crying.
Yeah.
When we were going up some of the Colorado
Oh,
mountains.
I still cry.
You're just like, hold on to my
I don't
leg.
know how anybody wouldn't. Those were like sheer
you were
drop-offs to death, man. No, I feel like I have a lot of the questions that new RVers will have, or people that haven't been in the off-road industry that are looking at making that transition. And so I appreciate the experience that you have that you can share with those people who are starting to make that transition.
Well, and I mean, early when our family, years ago, before we even thought I'd ever have an RV, we'd take my family, I have 5 kids, 4 girls and a boy. When we had 3 or 4 kids, we'd take them up to Jackson Hole on Lee Lake, String Lake to Lee Lake, and then canoe across. And we'd put in like 3, 4 kids in a canoe with our gear and canoe across Lee Lake to the other side, and people would like take pictures like, oh my gosh. And here, they called I had 911 on our boat, But, the key is we had good equipment, okay? And there were times we got caught in the middle of a storm once, and we had a really good old town canoe, and we were able to tell my kids, okay, paddle, go to the shore, regroup, wait for the storm to go, and we had good equipment, we had a good plan, but my kids, which are all in their 30s now and 20s, they talk about that today. These ventures.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we take them with our grandkids with these, or just me and my wife that we're getting ready to retire. And so live life. I mean,
that's
I think the end of life comes is when adventure stops.
Yeah.
Whatever that adventure is.
Well, George, thank you. Your stories and your input is invaluable. There's no way to quantify the value that you bring by everything you've told us today. So,
well, you guys are a great company. ROA is a great partner to have, and I'm still, I tell you, if you don't want me to come back, you got to screw up more. So
yeah, right.
Since you're not wearing a mask and I'm not, we'll shake hands instead of bump.
Okay, thanks, George.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, don't forget to follow us and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.